Welcome to the Militia gaming community. I'm Trigger, and Need for Speed Unbound just had an article. We need to talk about it. It's all about Unbound Online. Let's go. Real quick before I get into the video, if you're looking for any of my builds, they're all on the website militiagamingco.com. That's where you can find a link and go to all of my builds in Need for Speed Heat, and I'm going to be filling that in for Need for Speed Unbound as well. So keep an eye on that, as well as events on my website. That's where you can catch all of the dates and times of my upcoming streams. All right, let's get into it. So a bunch of online details were dropped today in an Under the Hood article from Need for Speed Unbound's website. Details about progression, customization, free roam, meetups, and general information about server sizes and parties. So unfortunately, there isn't really anything to get super excited for, and we actually need to have a serious conversation to try and communicate our frustrations and concerns to Criterion in hopes of influencing some change. I'll start with my biggest and most important complaint first, and that's party size. We knew that it was going to be 4 from a previous drop, but now we know that race playlists have a maximum human player size of 8, and online servers support up to 16 people. Well, if the max race size is 8, why not allow parties of 8? That doesn't make sense to me at all, especially when there is no true race matchmaking. Meaning, you can't just go in, queue up a playlist, and matchmake to 8 players and always race 8 players. It only sends invites to the people that are in your server. There is no separate location where they group players who are looking to do similar activities up together. There's zero matchmaking in the game. In order to get 8 people in a race, though, you will likely have to have a party of 4 and then send a race invite to the entire server and hope that 4 other random players join your list. This is basically the same system that didn't work in Need for Speed Heat. The only saving grace I can see, well, hopefully this changes things, is that the multiplayer and the single player progression are separated, and the multiplayer progression is based on doing multiplayer things. You see, the biggest issue with Heat's system was that there was a bunch of people in online lobbies working on all of their single player stuff. So when a race invite came across their screen, they may not have been ready to accept it or had plans to do something else with their time. In Unbound, the only reason that you would be online is to progress your online garage. And to do that, you have to participate in online multiplayer events. So if you're online, you're likely going to be accepting race invites when you see them. And seeing them is made even easier in Unbound because even if you're in the garage customizing your car, you will still see the race invite and you can accept it from there, from the garage. So basically, they've removed some of the barriers to getting people in your races, but selfishly, I just can't invite more than 3 of you guys into my party, and that is so frustrating for me. I want to do streams and invite as many people as possible. I want to have an entire server dedicated to us, the Militia gaming community. I want 16 people. If that's the max in a server, fine. I want 16 people in my party, and I want to put you guys all in the same lobby so that we can race. I know I'm not the only one that wants this, and I seriously hope they address this with the first update. Alright, let's move on to the split progression system. The article says, while progression is split between campaign and Lakeshore Online, your progress towards activities and collectibles is shared. So no need to go collecting everything twice. But consider your options. Do you want to save more bank in the campaign or focus on them in multiplayer free roam to boost your bank in multiplayer? And the answer is definitely multiplayer. It's where the long tail of the game is, it's where you're going to spend the majority of your time after finishing the campaign, and it's where you're going to need the most bank to purchase and upgrade and customize cars. Do not unlock and complete the activities and collectibles in the single player, trust me, do it in multiplayer. You also will need to complete specific online only challenges to unlock a certain number of cars, and vice versa. There is a specific single player challenges that unlock cars for both multiplayer and single player. So to get everything in the game unlocked, you will have to play both single player and multiplayer. I don't know exactly how I feel about this yet. It will likely extend the amount of time that it takes to unlock everything, so depending on how entertaining it is, this could be a good or bad thing. If you're having a great time playing the game, you may want the game to feel a little bit longer, and this might be a good thing. If you're just trying to get through everything and unlock all the cars, you might see this as a bad thing, so I'm not really sure how I lean on this one. Alright, onto the race playlist details. The article says, meetups in Lakeshore Online are where you get to set up to prove your skills and show off your machine. Entering an online meetup provides you with multiple race playlists in which to compete with different tiers of cars required. So it seems just like in Heat, you will need to drive to a certain location to start a race playlist. There are various playlists to choose from. Some are specific to the car tier, and some require multiple tiers of cars, meaning you will need an S+ tier car and an A+ tier car and a B tier car to compete in that event. If you don't have one of those, or you don't have any of them, you can actually borrow the cars so you aren't left out. But you know the borrowed cars are going to be really bad, so I'd make sure to have a variety of builds for each tier so that you can compete in all these different events. As far as the playlists themselves go, there are 3 different race types within the playlists. There's not a whole lot different between these race types. It's basically just racing. There's street races, speed races, and Corner King races. Street races are just circuits, speed races are just sprints, and Corner Kings feature a lot of drifting sections. You don't have to drift those, but it's probably more fun if you do. I think winning is fun, so whichever way is faster, that's the way that I'm going to be doing it. But as you can see, there's really not a lot of difference between these events. These are all just races. There's not like a different mode in these. So the differences in the playlist look to be the different tiers of cars, and then you have circuits, sprints, and more windy, twisty roads type races. So I don't know, this just doesn't seem like a lot of multiplayer content. It seems a little bit lacking. There's racing and maybe collectibles and activities if you want to, but then that's kind of it. So we need to talk about the things that are not going to be available in online multiplayer at launch. No nighttime cycle, no cops, no pink slip / side bet races, no takeovers, and no multiplayer specific missions, aka no multiplayer campaign. What? No cops? Are you kidding me? No nighttime? What is this? How do you make a Need for Speed game with no cops? What does it even mean? The article specifically says at launch, which means at launch, but suggests that it will be coming in future updates. If that's true, then we're getting pink slip races. I mean, I hope to God we're getting pink slip races, but we have to have cops, a nighttime cycle, and something to do in multiplayer. It can't just be competitive racing. But that being said, I need to go back to the pink slip races for just 1 second. If they were able to add pink slip races into this game, that would be a very unique feature. I don't know that a racing game has ever done this or done it correctly enough for me to remember it. And since I did zero research on pink slip features in past racing games before making this video, I'm going to pretend like they don't exist. Anyways, this would definitely be a standout feature amongst all of the most recent arcade racers like Forza Horizon 5, the Crew 2, etc. I really want there to be pink slip betting, and at this point in time, it seems like we might get it. I mean, fingers and toes crossed for sure. Also, they kind of lied to us about multiplayer campaign. In the very beginning of all these drops, they said there's going to be 2 campaigns, a multiplayer and a single player. I really think they just were using the word campaign really loosely. Like, this is your campaign, like your experience or your journey or whatever you want to call it. But the way it was said was that there was an actual campaign with missions and things to do with your friends as opposed to things to do against your friends. So I don't know what's going to happen there or if they're planning on adding missions later, but that's a huge turnoff for me. I really wanted something to be able to grind together with friends. But anyways, to end this video, I'm mostly disappointed by the party size and the fact that there seems to be a lot missing from the multiplayer experience at launch. I think it's important for Criterion to address these issues as soon as possible and to not call it a big update if they do. that they're giving players for free. This stuff should have been in the game from the jump, especially since it's a full price game. Cops are an essential given right in a Need for Speed game. You can't not include them in multiplayer and then add them in and act like you're supporting the game with fresh content. Not saying they're gonna do that, just saying, Criterion, please don't do that. I'm also hyped about the potential to see side betting and possible pink slip betting for multiplayer races. I absolutely love this idea. Aside from that, we will see how often the race invites are accepted with this new split progression system. I really do think that will affect the percentage of races being accepted by other players in the server, because I think everyone's going to be in online for exactly the same reason, because there's literally nothing else to do there. So I think players will be accepting invites, so we probably won't have that same issue that we did in Heat, but time will tell. We're going to have to wait till the game comes out and we start filling up these multiplayer lobbies. All right. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm serious. I really like to take the temperature of the Need for Speed community, so it really helps inform some of my future content if you give me your opinions. I do like to hear them. So anyway, shout out to all the Heat 5 members, and if you want to become a member of the channel, you can. We have 2 tiers, Heat 3 and Heat 5. And Heat 3 is $5, Heat 5 is $10, and you get all kinds of cool benefits. You've got custom emojis and badges, and you get members only streams like the one I'm doing tonight, and all kinds of stuff like that. So if you want to become a member, you want to support the channel, please do, and I appreciate that so much. I'll catch you on the next one. Trigger out.